You remember me?
Yeah.
From when you played soccer?
Yeah. One of your sons was afraid of my sister.
Afraid of your sister? Uh-oh. Which one?
Jake.
Yeah. Okay. Jace is my littlest boy. I've got 3 boys, and one's in 6th grade, one's in 4th grade, and one's in 2nd grade. So, anyways, this is a cool class. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do in this class.
Community service group.
Community service grade? So what types of projects do y'all work on?
We use software to do things and
So you work with software here? I tell you what, this is a cool room. I haven't been in here before, but y'all have some cool toys in here. Toys that I wish I had, like a 3D printer. That's awesome. And y'all have a big old plotter, so y'all can print one off the plotter. Posters, does it cut Bible and stuff like that out too? And you have a green screen. Have y'all used that yet? No? Yeah, and then knock out the background. So then I heard you guys work with, well, you have Mac, so you're cool right off the bat. You're not PC. We've got mostly on Mac. So y'all use like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and that type of thing? A little bit. Okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. I own Think Idea Studio. It used to be called Think Advertising, and we're a marketing company. And y'all know where our building is downtown? You can see the tower with Think on it, right off of Main Street. If you haven't seen it, y'all know where Walgreens is, right here on the corner. Go down Main Street just a couple of blocks, and you'll have the church on your left-hand side. And if you look right across the church to the west, you'll see a big tower in the parking lot that says Think. And our studio's at the top floor of that old building. And so that's where my agency is at. And I started a company right out of my laundry room right when I was graduating from college. And I started doing graphic design, taught myself graphic design, and I started doing work for people, design packaging for people and some marketing pieces. So when I graduated college, I started a company. And back then it was called Lasso Creative. And so I started doing people's websites and their ads, you know, for magazines. And then as the company grew, we got into doing TV spots, like video production. Now we do a lot of digital marketing and branding development and a whole bunch of stuff. So a lot of the bigger companies that you see around this area, we do all their marketing. So y'all know like Unity Health, you know, so they changed their name from White County Medical Center to Unity Health. Our company helped come up with a new name for them. We design their logo, we do their TV spots, we do their signage design, we do a whole bunch of stuff for them, as well as a bunch of other companies. But the reason we changed our name from Think Advertising to Think Idea Studio is because we do a lot more than just advertising. So we also own and operate Cersei.com, which is the city's website, and we do a free website to all the city departments. So like police department, library, city hall, that they all get their website for free through our website services. So we do Cersei.com, but then we also do inventions. So we've got some products that we've developed. We have some apps that we've developed, some online website services that we've developed. So we changed our name from Think Advertising to Think Idea Studio. That way it could kind of incorporate a whole bunch of things. So usually I go into schools and I talk about various things. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today is what you can do to help ideas succeed. Some of it pertains to working with groups, because what we do at our agency is we work with groups a bunch. Because working with groups is really cool because you can glean from other people's experiences to help their ideas succeed as well, and to just individuals. But before we do that, there was a demonstration I did at a school recently that helps kind of get your minds going. So y'all jump up. And from my goal this way, I want y'all to go to this wall, and from this table, go to that. And y'all stay on this side of the room, okay? All y'all come to this side of the room. And here's why we're going to do this demonstration. Y'all kind of get in together as a cluster. So there's 2 different types of people in this world, right? And some people, they just kind of go with the flow, and they just kind of do whatever they're told, and they just kind of do what everybody else is doing. And then there's another type of people that are called visionaries or idea people. And what they do is they kind of walk around with their head up, and they're kind of noticing their surroundings, thinking to themselves all the time, how can I make this world better? And this exercise is going to tell you a little bit about that. So when I say go, I want this group to cross the room to this wall, and this group cross the room to this wall, and stay right here in this one lane. Ready to go. Was that pretty smooth?
Yes.
Did y'all kind of run into each other a little bit?
Maybe.
Okay, let's do it like this. Now do the same thing, but I want you to stay in between these chairs. Okay, ready and go. It's a little bit of a mess, isn't it? And the reason I'm doing this for y'all is because I want you to remember something. Right now, y'all are just going with the flow, doing what you're told. Right? A long time ago, before there were cars and horses and buggies and roads, that's what it was like. Everybody could kind of travel wherever they wanted to. And if you got into a tight jam, then you'd run into each other and it created a mess, right? And then all of a sudden somebody had a thought or an idea. And it was a simple one, a very simple one. Now do this. You guys go to the right of these dots in the lane, and then you guys go to the right. Ready, go.
Take this one.
Y'all see what happened? What happened? Somebody can tell me. What happened?
Two separate paths were created for each group going other ways.
Right. How simple it was to put lines in the middle of the road and tell people to go to the right. Wasn't that easy? Simple concept. But if somebody didn't pay attention to their surroundings, they wouldn't have been able to help save a lot of crashes and make things flow smoothly. Go ahead and have a seat. What I want to encourage you guys to do are be the people that travel around with your heads up, noticing your surroundings, thinking, hey, this is how the world is right now, but this is not the way the world has to be. Because I can come up with ideas to make it better. Does that make sense? You can't do that if you always just go along with what people tell you, or you walk around with your heads down. Okay? You guys have to think, how can I make this world better? What I'm handing out to you are 10 tips on how to make ideas succeed. And I want to have 10 readers to help me through this. All right, you're handling up first. So when I get around to you, you can read number 1. We're going to talk about it. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you one of the things I got to do this summer is my wife and I, we got to go to Philly. You know where Philly is? The birthplace of America. Y'all know where Philly is? Philadelphia? Have y'all heard of like Philly cheesesteaks?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Mention food and now y'all know what we're talking about. Okay, anyways, we got to go to Philly this summer and we got to pitch for the TV show called Shark Tank. Have y'all heard of that? Yeah, that was fun. So they didn't call us back, which was a bummer. But it was cool to get to go pitch our invention product to them and go through that process, which is really cool. All right, who's my number 1? Hit it.
Everyone can have an idea, but not everyone can develop an idea to completion.
Stop. Okay, so he just said everybody can have an idea. Having ideas are easy, but not everybody can have an idea and carry it all the way to completion. Turn your papers over so you don't change. So give me some ideas why it might be hard to see. Have an idea, but see it all the way through to the end. Come on. Go quick. We don't have a lot.
No.
Do it loud. Say it loud.
No one makes support.
No one may support you. Okay. That's good. Yes. No, that's a really important one. Yes.
If you get distracted.
Get distracted. Okay. Good. Keep reading.
Why? Lack of preparation, lack of perseverance. Let hurdles become obstacles.
All right. Stop right there. So the first 2 things, it says lack of preparation. That's what you said. And lack of perseverance. So what's preparation? Y'all should know what preparation is. Right. So like you might be going down the street and you have an idea and then you're so excited about your idea you want to race right into it. Diligence into it. Do y'all know what due diligence means? Y'all probably don't. Due diligence basically means the amount of time and effort to get ready to prepare for something. And so I want to encourage you, as cool as your ideas are, this is a problem I have. As soon as I have an idea, I'll get online and I'll start reserving domain names and start writing stuff down and trying to push it forward. And over time, I've learned I need to slow myself down because I get anxious. I feel like, oh no, if I don't work on it right this second, somebody's going to steal my idea. That's never happened to me, but I always just feel like that's the case. So you need to put your due diligence into your idea first to give it a good chance to succeed. And then perseverance, that's a longer word. What's that mean? Follow through. What's to persevere?
Push through.
That's right, to push through, to don't quit. Don't give up on it real easy, okay? Keep reading.
Let hurdles become obstacles. Obstacles become frustrations. Frustration leads to quitting.
Okay, so a lot of times ideas don't come all the way to fruition because the first time it starts getting hard, you let yourself start getting frustrated at it, right? And so this is an example I tell my boys all the time. Does anybody go duck hunting with their parents? You did? Are you the only person? Congratulations. Okay, so when water gets on, feathers on the duck are special. They kind of have oils in them. So when water gets on the feathers of a duck, what happens?
They just roll off.
Just rolls right off, right? What I want to encourage you to do as you start working on ideas and you start coming up against hurdles, let those frustrations roll right off your back. Don't let it stick there and fester and get you so frustrated to the point that you might give up, because the world needs your ideas and they need your ideas to succeed. So if you allow yourself to get frustrated to the point of giving up, then you're not letting your gift get all the way to the world with your idea working. I need number 2 reader. Yes, ma'am, read loud.
Learn how to fail without becoming frustrated. Just pivot and move on.
All right, pause. Who's a basketball player? I need a basketball player. All right, you're reading, so come here. All right, does everybody know what the word pivot means?
Yeah.
All right, you want to show them what pivot means? Tell them what you're doing.
Moving without.
So pretend I'm a hurdle, I'm an obstacle, right? And she's holding her little idea in her hand, her precious little idea. And I want to stop her from moving forward. So she has to pivot. Go ahead and pivot. Pivot means to change directions. So that's one way that you stop yourself from getting frustrated, is by changing directions. There's a million ways to skin a cat. What does that mean? It's kind of weird, huh? You can solve a problem a bunch of different ways. So if the way she's going with her idea doesn't work, just pivot and go a different direction, and then pivot again and go a different direction. Okay, keep reading.
The more you try and fail, the more you learn how to rebound quicker. Those who can rebound fast from failure will be more successful.
Okay, so y'all like sports, y'all like watching like professional basketball or football or baseball or whatever. There's something special about professional athletes. They have failed a ton of times throughout their careers as they were getting older. The reason that they're professionals is because they learned how to rebound faster than the other people, which means when they come up against something that's hard, they get over it faster. As you guys keep doing projects, and maybe sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, I want to encourage you to think about this. The faster you can get over it and stop having a pity party, then the more you're going to be successful, because the most successful people can come up against a challenge and have it not work and then get over it really fast and move on to the next thing. Good job. Y'all understand so far? All right, I need number 3 reader. Michael.
Respect other people's ideas and their perspectives, especially because they are different from yours.
Okay, this is super important, especially when you're working with groups. Sometimes we think, because y'all are smart, right? Y'all are in the EAST program, y'all come up with these ideas and work on things together. And so y'all are already smart, but you don't want to be proud of your wisdom. You want to be humble. And the reason is because if you're proud of your wisdom, then you might think that your idea is always the best. And when you're working with a group, there might be somebody that has a really good idea, but you don't know about it because you think that yours is the best. So you need to respect other people's opinions, especially, and that's why it's in all caps, especially because they're different than your own. You need to hunger after what people know that is different from yourself. That way you can glean more wisdom beyond your own limitations. All right, I need another reader. Number 4. All right, go for it.
Learn to collaborate better when embracing hard discussions.
All right, say that again real loud.
Learn to collaborate better by embracing hard discussions.
Okay, so here's the deal. When you're working in groups, sometimes your thoughts and your opinions are going to be different than others, right? But you're scared to have a conversation about it because you don't want to offend somebody. And so you're kind of holding back. what we need to do in order for our ideas to succeed is learn how to embrace difficult discussions, because you have to know once you get through that difficult discussion, then things are going to be better. That's the case with ideas, but it's also the case with relationships. And working with people is really all about relationships. So learn how to have a respectful, difficult discussion with each other, not offending each other or being polite to each other, but that way y'all can talk about your differences of opinions or ideas and then move forward in a direction. Does that make sense? So learn how not to shy away from difficult conversations. When you get a job, that'll help you when you're in a relationship and get married down the road, and it'll definitely help you when you're working on ideas. Cool? All right, number 5, need a reader. Go for it.
Yes, few of us are big. Learn how to give everyone.
All right, who's a loudmouth in here? All right, come here, loudmouth. You're with me. Who's kind of shy and quiet? All right, if you're shy and quiet, go stand by the whiteboard. If you're a loudmouth, come hang with me. You're going to be one of these two people.
Noah.
You're
That way.
quiet.
Noah, probably that way.
All right, y'all listen up. This happens all the time, okay? Us loudmouths on this side of the room, we dominate a conversation. We think our ideas are good and we think they're valid. And so we're usually the loud folks, right? We're the ones who speak up first, raise our hand first, and here's the deal. Sometimes when we're working on somebody, y'all may have the winning thought. Y'all may have the idea to make something work, but y'all don't say anything because you're quiet and reserved. Here's what we have to learn how to do. We need to learn when we're working in a group to solve an idea or a problem, how to communicate together to give everybody an equal chance to share their thoughts. So go ahead and have a seat and I'll tell you how we do some of that at our office. Number 1, we have to realize that people are different and we communicate differently, right? And if you want your idea to have the best chance at success, then you need to make sure you give everybody that's participating a valid chance to express their idea, especially during a brainstorm session. What's a brainstorm session? Say it loud. Yeah, so a brainstorm session is like a no rules type conversation. That's where every idea is valid and you're not whittling down anything yet. You want to throw everything up on the board and so that you can consider all options. But here's what happened. The quiet people, the shy people are scared to voice their opinions. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Start sometimes your brainstorming sessions without speaking. Like, how do I share my idea without speaking? Get a Post-it note or write on the whiteboard. Give everybody a chance to write their ideas down and go post them on the board. Then after that, read through them and then start the discussion. That gives everybody an equal playing field without feeling like they can't share their ideas. Does that make sense? So us loudmouths, be respectful of those who don't talk as much. And this is really more important than you realize yet, because they may have the winning idea that can help them succeed. Got it? Got it? Got it. Okay. All right. Number 6. I need a new reader who hasn't read yet. Come on. Go for it. Yeah, so this is super important. Big ideas are awesome because they can change the world, but they might feel like they're overwhelming and you're not sure how I'm going to get to the end. So what's a big idea? Throw something out that's a huge idea. What is it? Okay, wow, going that far with it. So she said stop in Korea, right? And that may seem like an overwhelming task. But what you do is you start looking at that overwhelming task and you start breaking it down into smaller components. And then you put them in an order of what's most important to achieve first, and then what's all the way to what's most important to achieve at the very end. So this is a pretty heavy topic. But let's choose something a little bit different than stop in Korea. What's another idea? Skyscraper, right? So we're thinking about what, 100 stories up in the sky, and you're like, how in the world are we going to do that? Well, first things first, you got to break it all the way down to what does my foundation need to be like? What are the materials that need to be there? What type of workers need to work on it with the right expertise? When you take a huge task, break it all the way down, then it doesn't seem so scary. And then you have these milestones that you can accomplish and you feel motivated because you see yourself making progress. Does that make sense? So even, do y'all build robots in this class?
We do not. We do have a robotics club on
Okay,
campus.
so this is something that robotics clubs do very well. They listen to what the robot is supposed to achieve, and then they start breaking it down into simple functions, and then they put all those functions together, and then all of a sudden that hard task is then achievable. Does that make sense? Okay, I need another reader. Number 7. Yes, sir.
You learn most from your failures. You learn faster by listening to those who fail.
Yeah, so you guys need to get excited about trying things that don't work. And I know that's hard to understand, and most of us have a fear inside of us from failure. But once you can get to the point where you're over that, and even if you're trying something that seems super difficult and you know that you may not be successful with it, be excited to do it anyways, because you're going to come through that process with the knowledge and experience that'll really stick with you your entire life. But here's how we get, like technology's speeding up right now, right? Like things are being invented, created at a super fast pace. Why is that the case? Why are things going so fast now?
Because the technology is advanced and it just keeps getting like smarter and more advanced every like month or year. So we're accomplishing a lot more things than we were doing.
That's a good answer, because the starting line is further down the track than it used to be. That means that as you guys get older and you start developing ideas and technologies and whatever, where you're starting from is so much more advanced than where they started from 20 years ago. Why? Because you're learning from somebody who's failed before you, right? So you don't have to start at square one. You start at their square and then you move forward. So you'll remember the most. You'll own that knowledge the most when you fail yourself. So keep trying and trying, but then you'll accelerate and accomplish a whole lot faster by learning from other people. Basically, that means you need to put yourself close to other people that do what you like to do so you can learn from them. Good. Okay, what's next? Number 8. Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to accomplish anything by starting with one sentence. Putting yourself in close proximity to your dream. If you want to be an astronaut, get close to your astronaut. That's it.
All right, stand up and read that super loud. Y'all, this is so important.
You really can't accomplish anything by starting with one sentence. Put yourself in close proximity to your dream. If you want to be an astronaut, get close to other astronauts. That's it.
What's proximity? The distance between yourself and something else, right? Let me tell y'all a story. We had an intern that came to work for us at Think Idea Studio, and he had a dream. His goal was to work for, what's the animation company that's over there in California? It just left me. What did you say? No. What is it? No, it's not Universal. Oh my goodness.
Pixar.
Okay. He wanted to go work for Pixar, right? And he was in Searcy, Arkansas doing graphic design. And so, the one thing he did that allowed him to go work for Pixar, and then he worked on like awesome movies that y'all have seen, like Toy Story and others. Guess what's the one thing he did? Can you work for Pixar from Searcy? Yeah, no connections to Pixar. That's right. He got himself up and he moved from Searcy and he went to California. And he started putting himself in close proximity to other people that worked for Pixar. All of a sudden they started talking. And as time went on, all of a sudden he had a door that was open at Pixar and he was able to move into Pixar and they gave him a shot. And now he's making animated movies, which was a huge dream of his, and he had no idea how to make that happen. Listen, it's that one simple step that can help make y'all's dreams come true. If you want to be an actor, go hang out with other actors. If you want to be an engineer, get close to other engineers. Closing that gap of proximity will help make your dreams come true.
What his name is?
David Condolora. Yeah. You know? He actually just created a game on mobile phones that's now going to be on PlayStation. It's called Burly Minute C. So I'm not making this up. You'll have to look it up. Yeah. So anyways, does that make sense? So no matter how big your dreams are or what you guys want to accomplish, the easiest thing you can do in step 1 is to get close to whoever is working on things like that. And then you'll start seeing doors open up. Easy one. All right, number 9. I know we have more than 10 people here. Come on. I need one of my shy people. Who are you? All right. Go for it. Number 9, loud and proud.
Technology is a tool to help you be more efficient. Don't let technology supersede your connection to people. People are
Okay. Did y'all read that or hear that? So technology is super important. That helps us accomplish things faster. But what we're finding over the past several years, and you guys are guilty of it already, and so are people my age too. But we're letting technology replace our communication with people. That's a bad, bad deal. And so people are not used to talking to each other on the phone. People are not used to talking to each other in person. And so what that does is that really hinders our relationships and how to communicate with each other. And so what I want to stress to y'all is let technology be something that it's really intended for. Be something that can help you be more productive and more efficient. But don't let technology replace your interactions with people. What I mean by that is, like people at my office, they would rather send an email than call somebody, right? Or they would rather text somebody than to call somebody or meet with them face to face. Well, what happens is you're just reading words, but you're not seeing the emotion or the interaction with that person, and so things can be misunderstood. So I really want to encourage you, as you continue to work on ideas, don't let technology replace your relationships with people. That's an important thing, okay? Number 10, last one. Wasn't read. All right. Hit a gray shirt. Yep.
Smart is a gift you give yourself through learning. Wisdom is a gift given to you. Stay put.
Okay. So when I first started, I didn't wait around for somebody to tell me something, right? There was a challenge, and then I would teach myself how, what I needed to know to overcome it. So becoming smart is a gift that you give to yourself. So you need to take advantage of that right now. One of the things that I love to hear already is that you guys are learning how to use like Photoshop and Illustrator and some software. Y'all have time in your lives to invest into yourself. I can't tell you how many interns we have that are in college that don't know how to use graphic design software yet. And it's because they don't have time in class to learn how to do that. So you need to take the opportunity when you're at home and when you're on your own to teach yourself, because that's a gift that you can give yourself. Wisdom is a gift, is knowledge that is given to you, either from other people or other sources. And so you need to try to pursue both. Invest into yourself and allow other people to invest into you as well. Okay? Y'all have questions for me? Does everything we talked about make sense? Does it sound pretty simple? It's pretty simple, but it really can be important as y'all work on ideas and developing those ideas. Cool? Give me some examples of the things that you guys are going to be working on coming up.
We want to remodel the atrium down there, like a stage, put floats, put pictures.
Cool. So what part of that project do y'all have? Are y'all like working on plans and CAD in here?
Yeah, we did.
Awesome.
And that's one thing about this class. I don't stand up and tell them, this is how you do this. They have to do Google and tutorials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they are teaching themselves how to use the software.
Okay, so is that a project that this entire class is working on? Okay, so that's cool. So have you gone to talk to like architects or interior designers who use CAD yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you all a website. That's a really cool website. It's called lynda.com, Lynda. Do y'all use it?
I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's got video tutorials on how to use software. Really, it has a range of things. It's only like $25 a month, but it's great knowledge. So like learning how to use CAD or even other software or even how to do sales or anything. And ask your parents for a Christmas gift. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Actually, like I would ask for books on software and stuff when I was growing up so I could learn. So that's a cool project. So are y'all going to break that down into different components? All right, what other projects are y'all working on? Are y'all still trying to come up with projects? Yeah. Well, some of the things that we're starting up here in the community that y'all may be interested in as a class, we started a thing called the Think Art Project. Have y'all heard of that yet? So one of our goals is to try to improve our quality of life in Searcy through art. And art can be like paintings or sculptures or lighting features or landscaping features or water fountains, that type of thing. And so one of the projects that I believe the GT class over at the middle school is going to take on is to create a sculpture that's kinetic and moves and put it on their campus. And then that way each year they're going to add to it. So that's something that's really super cool. So as far as like the East program, y'all could help the community out by coming up with, when I say art, don't just think paintings. They're going to use like solar energy to move parts of the sculpture, and that way it's really creative. So anyways, that might be something that you're interested in. Also, one of the things that we're kicking up are little mini library birdhouses. Y'all know what those are? So what we want to do is like a free share little mini library type deal. Basically, it looks like a birdhouse, a glorified birdhouse, and we're going to put them all over town. We're working with Parks and Recreation to put them all over town, and then that way people can just put their books in there, and they can take one, share one, leave them, or whatever. And that's just a fun little thing. So you could go to a park and open it up and find a book in there and sit down and read it, or leave a book for somebody else that they might think is interesting. So that's something that y'all might could build too. And it just needs to be waterproof and be super cool and be on a 4x4 inch post that we can put into the ground. Cool. I'm giving you all ideas and things we can do. So as y'all think about how to make the world a better place, so like some of the things that we work on, I'm involved with the SREDC, that's the Searcy Regional Economic Development Corporation. And we try to think of ways how to grow the community. And I'm also the chair of a small business committee through the chamber, and I'm on the beautification committee and the holiday of lights committee. I'm also on the committee for Beats and Eats. Y'all know what Beats and Eats is? What's Beats and Eats?
It's like over in front of your studio, every 6 weeks. They do like
Once a month, yeah, we have music out there, and we have food trucks out there, and we have activities. And so one of the things that we want is we want the community to come together and just spend time together. Not necessarily only to come shop or eat or listen to music, but we want people to interact. And so we try to come up with like yard type games for people to come spend time together. So that would be a cool thing too. Jenga, blocks or life-size chess or things like that. So that might be something that y'all could get involved with as well. But listen, all those things started just with normal people considering their circumstances, like, what are we lacking in this area? And they come up with an idea on how can we make this better. And so all of a sudden, a group of people share ideas, they throw them into a pot, they stir it around, and boom, you got Beats and Eats. Cool? Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else that y'all have to ask for me, thank y'all so much for letting me come.